Hi, Fatima. Thanks for joining again. The past couple weeks we've covered a lot. The
hmm
whole premise is the end of suffering, which seems like a very lofty goal, but we discussed a lot of different skill sets, toolboxes to work with that. So we started with the law of forgiveness, then we did triple A, we've done triple D, we've done, I believe, one other triple besides that. And so my question for you is, what do you have for us today on the topic of ending suffering?
Thank you for having me again. And it's my pleasure to talk about those laws that I feel they helped me and suffering and also share them with humanity in general. And if it resonates with whoever gets to hear the video, that's fine. They can apply it. And if not, they can find what resonates with them.
Right.
So, in my own experience, as I mentioned in my book, my journey to consciousness, I realized like if you really want to enjoy life and end suffering, you need to understand what I call the law of forgiveness, which we talk about it. And the other law, I call it the law of order, which the quantum physicist Tom Campbell calls it lowering entropy. It's like for as a key for evolution. I call it the law of order because again, I grew up with the Quranic teaching through the Sufi tradition, and lowering entropy for us is established order.
Hmm.
So I came to a triple O because of
Okay.
that. I was inspired, triple O. So triple O is obstacles,
Okay.
observation, order. Okay. So I will share with you. So let me share here, just like an empty page where I can explain. So if
Okay.
you are here in this life, okay, and you have a goal, so you have a goal to achieve whatever goal, because mostly people suffer because they cannot get to what they want or what they desire or a goal. So if you are, let's say, here, but your goal is here, so I'm going to just put for you like, okay, I'm here. So we grew up learning like, okay, life is take it step by step, to get what you want. But if you look at every step you take, if you come here and you just try to go to the next level, you're going to find an obstacle. So this is basically obstacle.
Hmm.
This is life. We're gonna be
Right.
challenged. And the obstacle will depend on your level. So if it's a child who's going to go up steps, of course you're not gonna put for him a big step and you expect them to go through it. But everyone will be challenged based on their own journey, based on their own evolution. So, but if you just come here and see the obstacle, either it puts you down, and that's when we suffer. We face an obstacle and we start to complain, and that puts us down instead of understanding that obstacles, which is challenges in
Hmm.
life, are necessary for growth. Just like in schools, you're not going to pass a course unless you take an exam. Or that's what the second thing is observation. Or you pull yourself back and you look about the height of the step, how much energy do you need, what should you do? So you calculate in a way and you measure before you go to the next step. So that's just like to explain why I was inspired about obstacle than observation.
Hmm.
So you always need to be the observer of your experience instead of being absorbed by it. And when
Right.
I say experience, is the challenges, because every experience and everything in life is a challenge for you to go to the next level. That's how the evolution is. And the third thing, of course, is order. So an observer can put himself in order and he can establish a better decision, a better way, better choice, because every time you are faced by an obstacle, that means you need to make a choice. So you need to study your choices. If I take road A, what can be if I take road B? And you have to see which way can put you in order, which is lower your entropy and make sure like you move on in life smoothly. So I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it absolutely does make sense. I mean, the obstacle portion of now the triple O to add to our letters, right?
Mhm.
We all face obstacles and we either, right, grow from it or it's a temporary setback. For some people, maybe it's not temporary, but I do understand the chronological order. You face an obstacle, you have to observe, okay, this is the situation I'm in now. This is where I want to be. This is the gap between where I am and where I want to be. And then to establish order, the way I understood it is to then make those tangible steps to try to achieve that goal and to not, right?
Mhm.
I think when you have a plan of action, you feel more empowered to accomplish rather than feeling more of a setback in that goal. My question to you, well, first I'll let you confirm if that's indeed what you
Yeah.
wanted to get across.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, you made a very good, summary. Thank
Oh,
you.
good. So when we talk about then like lowering our entropy, what does that mean? Because I think the majority of people listening won't quite know how to conceptualize what that
Yeah.
means.
When I say establish order, I mean, think about it at the normal level of a bedroom or a desk, okay? If your desk is messy, how can you even arrange your ideas or study, if your room is
Mm,
messy? So if you just bring it to the level of the child, first thing when they come to this life, you're trying to teach them and you tell them, put your toys away, fix this, sit this. This is you're trying to help them to establish an order. So when they get older and they expand their consciousness, it's not in a chaos. So
right.
this one we say establish order or lower entropy is basically there is no chaos. There is an order. There is something
I see. So like synonymous terms. And then I would assume that with establishing order comes also establishing a level of discipline, right?
exactly.
Right.
And when we talk order, we don't mean just in the physical space. We also
Mm.
mean in your mind, in your consciousness. Like,
What does that look like? Because I think that for most people, that's probably the more challenging part. You know, we can all, for the most part, clean our house, clean our space, get on a schedule, but what does it mean to establish order?
cleaner mind is let go of fear. That's cleaner
Mm.
mind. Like these are obstacles that they come to life. So you make a choice and always choose with love instead with fear. So basically, that's where you're going to establish your order in your mind is like if there is a chaos, if there is grudge, if there is a hate, if there is all of these things that don't resonate with source energy, which is just love, that puts you in alignment when you are putting yourself in order, putting yourself in alignment, align with source energy, which is just love and conditional love. So it's
Mm.
basically let go of fears and all the what we call the consequences of fear.
Right. But I think that that's probably a little bit easier said than done. So, so let's break it down a little bit more though. So how, I mean, let's give an example, I suppose. You know,
Mhm.
I'm trying to think. Maybe you can help me out here with an example, but what does it really mean letting go of fear? Just like putting it on the table, that worst case scenario, right? I will be okay. I mean,
Yeah, like just trust.
okay.
I mean, you can look at it from anything. Someone who's angry and yelling at you at work, okay? It's either you make a choice to respond with anger and you may
Mhm.
lose your job and that puts the obstacle in more suffering, or you may just like bring yourself back to order, bring yourself into alignment, and you say, they're not my teachers. I mean,
I,
I myself always remind myself not to react to other people, but come back and realize who I am at the core. And so that's what I mean. Put yourself in order. So don't get into the negative emotions. Anything
I,
that's negative is, it's because of fear, insecurity. So order is basically to be secure within.
I see.
You
I see.
become unshakable, basically.
Right. I mean, well, that's the goal. But to me, it also sounds like establishing order, even to put it in the most simplistic way, is just, which I think is the theme in everything we've talked about, is just to be present, to be
Yes,
aware.
I was going to just say that when you try to establish order in life in general, it will always keep you in the present moment. You are
Yeah.
not worried about future, you're not worried about past, you're not worried about anything because you're always focusing on the order of the now. Whether in your physical space or, mind space, you're always focused on the now.
Yeah. And I feel like that's part when you talk about getting worked up, I think the more that you're aware, I feel it, more often than I care to do, but it's wow, like I'm worked up right now, or wow, I'm upset right now, or wow, I'm peeved right now. And I sometimes I think just bringing awareness to that emotion,
Mhm.
naming it, and they said, for anything that you feel or thought you have, it's for 17 seconds, right? And then based on that, you can either attract things in that same kind of energy field. So, right, negativity then prompts more negativity. But I think when you think about it like that, whether it's 17 seconds, it's true or not, to think, I'm going to feel it right now, take a breath, and then to move forward, because we are going to be fearful, we are going to get annoyed, but I think maybe more of the key is to not stay in that emotion, to recognize it and move on, right? Because we'll always deter a little bit, but then to
Get
to
back.
get back on
And that's
track.
what I was trying to show with the stairs.
Yeah.
As you're going up the stairs, as you are evolving, there will be obstacle, but always you sit back, you observe, and
Hmm.
then you remind yourself, you're not here to respond to other people. You are here to remember whom you are and put yourself back in order.
No, and I think that's a great point because when you first said observe, the first thing I thought of is observe the situation, observe where you are, where you want to be. But right, even with what I just said, it's also just observing, this is how I feel, these are my emotions, this is where
Mhm.
I'm at. And so, you
Yeah.
know, another great acronym, that's
Thank
very
you.
versatile. And so for me, I mean, I think maybe triple O is one of my favorites because you feel it
Thank
all the time.
you.
Is there any other parting wisdom or tips that you would like to share with our audience on our new triple O?
It's
Things
like
that you do, or you know,
yeah, when you just like know that obstacles are part of life, just like when you go to school, exams are part of the school year, basically. Same thing with obstacles. When you start to realize, okay, they're part of life, and I went through obstacles before, and I'm going to go through it. So when you just learn to be, again, observing, but not being absorbed, don't immerse into the problem so much.
yeah,
Get
that's beautifully said. Observant but not absorbed. Wow, I think
exactly.
we can all use that.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
no, absolutely. Well, this has been great. I don't know what else we have on the agenda, but I look forward to it. And just in these past weeks, our discussion has been so insightful and hopefully helpful to our viewers.
Thank you. See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.